What's up, YouTube? Timmy's here. Here is my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turns 10, 20, 30, and 40 this week. Alright, the film celebrating their 10th anniversary is American Sniper, which as of today, here, American Sniper is actually one of Clint Eastwood's highest grossing films of all time. His movies lately hasn't really been much of a hit like American Sniper. I think this was actually his last major film that that made a lot of money. Should be honest here, but hey, American Sniper of course scored tons of Oscar nominations, like Best Actor for Bradley Cooper. I believe Clint Eastwood got a nomination for Best Director, if I'm not mistaken. I know it got nominated for Best Picture and all. It is a really intriguing film. Of course, Bradley Cooper, plays the role of Chris Kyle, and it follows like the military history with 255 kills from four tours in Iraq, and of course 160 of which were officially confirmed by the Department of Defense. And Chris was like celebrated for his military success. His tours of duty took and a heavy toll of his personal life and family life. Now, this movie also got a couple of controversy too because it actually included a fake baby in this. Who remembers American Sniper having a fake baby? Which I remember seeing that, I'm like, that baby does not even look alive and whatever. What? Then it turns out it was fake, which I'm still interested in that. But of course, you had Sienna Miller was in this. American Sniper was intriguing, very intense at times. Bradley Cooper was terrific. Sienna Miller is great. If you guys have not seen American Sniper, I'll say give it a go. It's a really good one. All right. Also turning 10 and celebrated of now, of course, next month we got the third one that's coming. Not the first, or not the second, I should say, but the very first Paddington movie. Now, if you live in the UK, technically 2020, 2024 will be its 10th anniversary or whatever, but it came out in the US 10 years ago this week. Now, of course, Paddington is based on the very popular children's book, featuring the voice of Ben Whishaw as the voice of Paddington. And believe it or not, Colin Firth was originally going to voice Paddington at one point, but that never came to fruition. The original Paddington is so good, man. It's really cute. It's charming. It's a lot of fun. Paddington 2 is probably just as good, but the first Paddington just was a pleasant surprise. It could have easily been a film that could just been straight up terrible and whatever, but it was amazing. Of course, you had Nicole Kidman play like the villain in the first one. Sally Hawkins was in that. Hugh Bonneville from Downton Abbey fame. You had some really great cast members, and yeah, if you guys never seen the original Paddington, definitely give that one a go. All right. Also turning 10 is The Wedding Ringer. It's, of course, where socially awkward Doug, played by Josh Gad, in 2 weeks from marrying the gal, played by Kaylee Cuoco, of his dreams, but he doesn't have any groomsmen for the occasion. And, of course, he calls upon Jimmy Callahan, played by Kevin Hart, owner and operator of the Best Man Inc. Here. And you had some other cool cast members like Josh Peck was in this. Alan Ritchson even appeared in this one. The late great Cloris Leachman. The late Ken Howard. You had some really great cast members, and it's a lot of fun. It's really entertaining. The chemistry between Kevin Hart and Josh Gad was really good. I like Kaylee Cuoco. I mean, if you guys have not seen The Wedding Ringer, I'd say give it a go. It's not like Kevin Hart's best work, nothing like that, but it is pretty fun. All right. Also turning 10 is Blackhat, which was actually Michael Mann's last movie before he did that Ferrari film with Adam Driver. Now, of course, Blackhat, we're like a Hong Kong nuclear plant and a trade exchange in Chicago are hacked by unknown perpetrators. A federal agent, played by Viola Davis, proposes that the FBI work with China to find their cyber criminals. And of course, she convinces like hacker Nick Hathaway, played by Chris Hemsworth, to be released from prison to help them with the investigation. And Blackhat, Michael Mann, of course, is the guy who gave us The Insider, Collateral, Heat. I, this literally became like the first truly time I disliked a Michael Mann movie. This film was horrible. I remember watching this. I was really looking forward to it because of course you had Chris Hemsworth, who I like. Michael Mann's were really good. You had some great cast members in this, but it just didn't do anything for me. It was completely boring. Nothing about it really was interesting. It just was a really bad one. And of course, it was a flop too. So there's that. All right, now other films turning 10. We got like a couple of small affairs like Still Alice, which of course was a film where Julianne Moore plays like this woman diagnosed with Alzheimer's. This is the film that actually won Julianne Moore her Oscar, which I think that was her first Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. She did a really good job in that. I mean, Julianne Moore is always amazing. Of course, you had Kristen Stewart, Alec Baldwin, Hunter Parrish, Kate Bosworth, some interesting cast members there. There's also Spare Parts, which was a drama film starring George Lopez, Jamie Lee Curtis, Marissa Tomei, Amber Midthunder. Uh, you also had the guy from Big Time Rush, Carlos Pena, and his wife Alexa Vega. Of course, this is where it is based on a true story of Joshua Davis, about the true story of a group of students who form a from a mainly Latino high school who won the place over MIT in uh in the 2004 Mate ROV competition. And not a bad little film. It was directed by Sean McNamara, who just gave us that Reagan movie, which whatever. Of course, really showcase how good George Lopez could be, because this was a little more of a dramatic affair for him. So, not bad there. Alright, films turning 20 this week. We got Coach Carter. Which is, of course, the basketball film starring Sam Jackson, where, like, Coach, of course, where, Ken Carter, who made headlines in 1999 for suspending, his undefeated, high school basketball team due to like poor academics results here. And it's actually not a bad one. Of course, you had other folks like Channing Tatum. This was actually the film that was like Channing Tatum's film debut, believe it or not. Like his early, like 2005 was like when he really started branching out into the acting world. Of course, you had Robert Richard Ashanti was in this. It was a really nice, inspirational film. Sam Jackson was great in this. Directed by Thomas Carter, no relation. He did a good job. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Coach Carter, I say give it a go. It's a really good one. Oh boy, also turning 20 is Elektra. Now, this past year, of course, we just had Deadpool Wolverine, which was a massive hit, and one of the best parts about that was seeing the redemption of Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Like, obviously, we had Channing Tatum. Speak of Channing Tatum, we had Channing Tatum as Gambit, Wesley Snipes as Blade. Then, of course, we got Jennifer Garner coming in as Elektra. That was perfect because the last time we saw Elektra on screen, we had the spin-off film, which was, of course, the spin-off of Daredevil. And oh boy, that Elektra movie was is one of the worst comic book films of all time. Not gonna lie, I think it's worse than Catwoman. Jennifer Garner, of course, really needed a redemption arc with her Elektra character, and thankfully Deadpool Wolverine came around and she had her redemption arc there. But yeah, Elektra is just not so good there. So yeah, and I don't even think the director has done anything since Elektra, but whatever. Anyway, film turning 30 this week. We got Higher Learning, which was directed by John Singleton, who gave us Boys in the Hood. He's done some other stuff like one of the Too Fast, Too Furious, if I'm not mistaken. Sadly, he did pass away a couple years back. I've always liked John Singleton's work. You had the likes of Ice Cube, Chrissy Swanson, Michael Rappaport. This is of course set in a following the changing lives of three informing freshmen at a fictional Columbus University. Of course, you had Ice Cube, Michael Rappaport, Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks, Virginia King was in this, Cole Hauser. I believe this was actually one of his like follow-ups to Poetic Justice, if I'm not mistaken, too. Higher Learning is a really decent film. Of course, a college setting one. Great performances by Michael Rappaport, by Ice Cube. Lawrence Fishburne was good in this. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Higher Learning, definitely give that one a go. All right. Also turning 20 is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Hunter, which is based on the Tales of the Crypt series that premiered like in the 90s. This had the likes of Jada Pinkett, who obviously at the time went by Jada Pinkett because she was not married to Will Smith at the time. You had Billy Zane, Dick Miller, Thomas Hayden Church, CCS Pounder, and as well like ex-soldier Frank Brecker, played by William Sadler, is a guardian of the ancient key that can unlock tremendous evil, and the sinister but charming collector, played by Bill Zane, is a demon who wants the key so that he can intimidate the apocalypse here. And Demon Hunter is a pretty cool little horror film. It was directed by Ernest Dickerson, who gave us movies like the Tupac film Jews, the Adam Sandler, Damon Wayans film, Bulletproof. It's a really decent little. This is actually a decent little horror film, to say the least. Jay Pinkett. This was like one of her earliest. I think her first film was Magic Society. But this was also one of her earliest works. Obviously, she will also do stuff like The Night Professor. She also had that little memorable kill scene in Scream 2. I mean, obviously, before the whole Will Smith stuff or whatever. She was always really talented and stuff like that. And not a bad little horror film here. Alright. Also turning 30 is Far From Home, The Adventures of Yell. Where of course John McCormick, played by Bruce Davison, while sailing off the shore of British Columbia, him and his son Angus, played by young Jesse Bradford, the boy's Labrador Retriever Yellow encounters severe weather. So this is of course a tale about survival and whatever. It's not really memorable, to be honest. Yeah, I mean the '90s always had some interesting survival based films, but this one I've probably watched this maybe once or twice, whatever. It's been years since I've seen this one, but of course Bruce Davidson's always great. Jesse Bradford, who obviously went on to do other stuff. Like I believe he was a Bring It On or Swim fan, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he's always good when he's in stuff. So there's that. All right, film turning 40 is Ghoulies. Now, the most memorable thing about Ghoulies is always the poster, where like that little ghoulie comes out from the toilet. Even Chucky, I think it was like the first season. Chucky parried that poster perfectly when he came out of the toilet in not Jake's house, in the cousin's house and all that was actually a pretty cool scene. And of course, Ghoulies, was a horror film. If pretty much follows like a young man named Jonathan Graves, who after inheriting his satanic father's estate, becomes seduced in his occult secrets. And there's actually a couple of other Ghoulies movies, which was not really memorable. Ghoulies was, of course, this was around time like I think this actually came out like a year after Gremlins, if I'm not mistaken. And so obviously they were trying to capitalize on the success of Gremlins, and so you had Ghoulies for a long time. I used to always thought Ghoulies and Gremlins were set in the same world. I don't know why. I just always thought like Ghoulies and Gremlins was like the same type of films. But years later, I've obviously watched them, and I'm like, yeah, they're definitely not. But yeah, Ghoulies is a really decent little horror film, and they're supposed to do like I guess a remake or whatever. I'm down to see more Ghoulies. If you guys never seen Ghoulies, I'll say give it a go. They're not great films or anything like that, but the first one is really interesting. All right. Also turning 40 is Blood Simple, which, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the directorial debut by the Coen brothers. This starred the likes of Francis McDormand, John Getz. It follows a Texas bartender who is having an affair with his boss's wife, and his boss discovers the affair. He hires a private investigator to take out the couple here, and it was actually the feature film debut by Francis McDormand, who obviously will go on to work with the Coen Brothers loads of other times. She'll obviously win an Oscar for like a not. I think she actually won 3 Oscars. For I think she won for Fargo, 3 Billboards, and obviously most recent Nomadland. So one of the few females to actually win 3 Oscars. So there's that. But Blood Simple is a real. It's not like my favorite Coen Brothers film, nothing like that. But it is really decent. Great performances here. So if you guys haven't seen it, give it that one a go. All right, also turning 40 is The New Kid, which stars James Spader. By the way, last week I talked about another James Spader movie. Now, another James Spader was everywhere in the 80s. Now, of course, this is where like a brother and sister, played by Shannon Presby and Lori Loughlin. Obviously, you might know her for Full House fame. I think this was actually before Full House ever came out. But anyway, moves to Florida and fight local hoodlums led by a twisted drug dealer played by James Spader. This was actually directed by Sean S. Cunningham, who obviously, years prior had a massive horror hit with Friday the 13th. Like, Sean Cunningham was the one who brought Friday the 13th to screen. So, yeah, he didn't really do, like, I guess he didn't really have much of a hit since, like, Friday the 13th came out or whatever. And this isn't super memorable. I don't even remember it, to be honest, yeah. But, yeah, it's not really anything to go about that one. Alright. Now, of course, Lori Loughlin, obviously had more of a prominent role when she appeared on Full House, like, a couple years after. So there's that. All right. That is pretty much it there. Let me let you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is going to be. It's actually going to American Sniper. Like, there's a lot of good ones in the 10-year one, but I'm going with American Sniper. The 20-year one is going to Coach Carter. 30-year one is Higher Learning. And the 40-year one, I'm going to go with Ghoulies. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Suicide.